Well, welcome back to Chiefs fans before we were cool.
Yep. Still working on that cool part. But have still maintained Chief fan status. So
You know what I think would really help us achieve that cool part would be another Super Bowl win. I think that would really go a long way to helping me become cool.
does it though? I think it just makes everybody hate us more. Hell,
Oh
I think
yeah,
it's good.
isn't that part of being cool? I'm not sure. Haven't been.
Oh, that's true. I I would have to have been cool to know that. But I do know what it's like to be a Chiefs fan when you win. And people were not happy with me after Philadelphia.
Yep,
So
that's for sure. So I got a little surprise for you today. I'm
oh
going to do
really?
a brief Chiefs show and tell from some Chiefs merch I have. So this one comes with a story, and it also is a fun but also a sad reminder for me. So I got this from a playoff game. So this was part
Uh,
of the slogan Eric Berry used after his comeback from cancer season in 2015. So they gave these out, and I went with two of my siblings to watch the Chiefs play in the playoffs. It was the year Alex Smith was a starter, Mahomes was on the bench. We go up, I think it was like 20-3 at the half against the Titans, and then we lose 20-21. It's the only time I ever went to a playoff game. So I don't take this with me if I go to games anymore, but I still have it because Eric Berry is awesome.
you're
So
not superstitious. You're just a little
it's a little,
stitious.
yeah, exactly. Not super, just a little bit. So there's the Chiefs show and tell.
Wow. Well, I have a surprise for you.
Okay. We didn't know each other were doing surprises.
I know. I mean,
I guess that's the point.
isn't that kind of the point of
Yeah.
surprise? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I've been planning, scheming.
Okay.
My surprise, I better figure out a little faster how my surprise is going. My surprise is a little slow. Um, but while we're thinking about it, we can do some fun stats.
Okay.
Who do you think the second leading receiver in yards is now?
Hmm.
Saved
Oh,
by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell. Um, what a surprise we have here.
I mean, you know,
Well,
it,
hello.
yeah, yep, surprise.
What a
So
Surprise.
surprise.
I brought my brother on so he can ask his questions in
So he
person
can,
today.
oh wow. One of our three faithful fans. We're probably more than
Yeah,
that, but one of the three people that notices if we're a day late in our video and tells us about it.
that's right. I was concerned. Very concerned.
Concerned Chiefs fan.
That's right.
Chiefs fan.
Well, plus I have to make sure I get my questions in, so it's a
Yeah.
priority.
Important.
Well, welcome. All
I
right.
guess I assumed that Eric was going to tell you that I was going to join, but I mean, maybe I should
I
have assumed.
I suspected. I think I knew it was going to happen at some point, but I didn't know if it was this time. So, for those who don't know you, are you a Chiefs fan?
I am a Chiefs fan.
And
Born
were
Were
and
you
you a
one?
raised.
Chiefs?
Yeah, go ahead.
Were you one before you were cool, or after you were cool, or is the jury still out on whether or not you are cool?
I Yeah, I guess the jury's still out. I'm not sure.
All right.
It's a good place to
Well, we
be.
love your questions, so hit us with some of those questions you got.
All right. Well, um, so the first one is my wife Naomi. That was her question. This is her question. Um, do you think Isaiah Pacheco could punch a cougar in the face?
Repeat that one more time.
Do you think Isaiah Pacheco could punch a cougar in the face?
I know if he did, I would call him Isaiah Paucheco.
I like
That's a
that
terrible
answer.
joke.
I think technically he could. I mean, I think anybody could do that. I think it's a question of whether or not they would be okay afterwards.
Yeah. So that I have a follow-up question to that one. That I
Of
thought of.
course.
If he got attacked by a cougar, how long would it take for him to pop back up?
You know, probably.
I don't think that cougar is getting back up.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. The cougar's not getting back. Oh, that was perfect, Eric.
That was a good answer. All right, so on to a little bit more serious one. Where do you think McCole Hardman will rank in our wide receiver lineup, like going forward?
Yeah. Obviously, I don't know that this game will be a reflection of that. I imagine he's going to have very limited snaps on Sunday. This is just total my thoughts. Obviously, no expertise here. I think he'll be the kind of wide receivers, not Kelsey, obviously. I think he'll settle into like a number 2 or spot or something, or maybe number 3. But I also think that, well, Justin is out for a while. I think Sky Moore is going to fall down. I'm thinking Rice and Ross are going to be moving up on the chart as the season goes on personally. So I could see Hardman being behind one of them in front of another one. But what are your thoughts, Eric?
I think he probably settles in around 4, 5. I mean, it depends, like going forward potentially. Like it's like I don't know if we would be keeping track of that. But he got, I think, 500 or like 600 yards last time he was with the Chiefs for like a full season. So somewhere around there, like 400 yards, I think is a pretty safe bet. He's kind of settled into his role, the jet sweeps and some of the other stuff. So it kind of caps a little bit his like total yardage that he's going to do.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to have him do punt returns also, because obviously that's been something that we've had kind of an issue with. So it'd be nice to feel like we had someone who I didn't have to stress about every time we were getting a punt.
Oh my
So
word. That would be nice.
Yeah, it feels like this year we haven't been screwing it up like we have in past years, at least.
yeah.
Not so
Yeah, I
much.
think we just have 1, maybe 2. I think we at least had 1.
One, and
I should-
he got it back. I think Washington, like he
okay.
dropped, he fumbled it, but he got it. So, but
Yeah, I can only think of the one, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I would probably think around 3. It'll be, it'll be more of a deep threat anyway, so it'll probably be kind of a boomer bust. Also, I mean, going from here on, I think 3, but if you probably did totals, it'll be skewed since he hasn't been playing the whole year.
yeah,
Right.
It's like Watson does a lot of the deep routes, and especially while he's injured, I think Hardman will
that's a
fill
good
in
point, yeah.
that role. And people are keeping us from that, but eventually people are going to try to stop letting us just take the yards, and that's when we take deep shots. So
Yeah, I don't know if they're ever going to do that.
yeah,
I
maybe
don't
not.
think- It's been 2 years. We don't have Tyreek Hill anymore, and they're still doing that.
Yeah,
Like just in
Mahomes
case.
has everybody playing scared.
Yeah,
yeah. I heard I don't remember who it was talking about the fact that that like it's kind of interesting. It seems like a lot of teams went to that, 2 high safeties because there's a lot of offenses like us and the Bills, a lot of those high flying, just throw it deep. And their point was, and I mean, you could say what you think about it, was the Bills never seem to get out of that, and it seems to be hurting them a little bit that they're still in that same mindset of kind of boomer bust. Those deep shots are kind of live or die by, and I mean that's kind of what we were at, but we've kind of rebuilt since then.
yeah. And the one thing that obviously the deep ball you can get a huge chunk, but the problem is when you go for a deep shot on like second down, and then you're just suddenly like in 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 8, and so it also takes away free yards that you could get otherwise. So
Well, I mean, that's only a problem if you're not Mahomes. But
true.
like what their percentage on 3rd and long is like better than it was on like 3rd and short for a long time.
Yeah.
But anyway, you have any other questions for us, brother?
Yeah. So which of the NFL mascots would make the best like fighting match, like cage match or something like that?
Oh yeah. Oh, I have to try to remember. I don't think I've honestly never thought about that. So this is why you're paid to wonder.
Yeah, paid.
paid.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that check still.
It's lost in the mail, I'm sure. It got sent.
Sure.
No,
What
I
do you
don't know if
think?
they're the best, but I just think it would be funny to see Casey Wolf fight the Eagle from
Yeah,
the Super Bowl match.
yeah,
Because you got one with the big belly and the other guy with these like flappy arms.
yeah.
So I was more like thinking what they represent. So like an eagle versus a
Oh,
bear or versus like something like that.
Well,
But
real
okay,
talk.
a Jet is out then because that's just not a fun matchup. Jet versus Eagle. No, that's not going to work. Um,
but if it's a cage match, I don't think the Jet
Bears
could
and
stay
Lions,
inside.
I
Bears
think
and
would be.
Lions. Ooh, that'd be
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
This I actually you're getting off topic, so off topic, but it's okay. It's funny. I had a conversation with someone about how I hate goats and also about how I met a bear in the wild at one point. And so he sent me a picture of a Chicago Bear player tackling Tom Brady. I was like, that is the funniest
Pretty good.
a bear attacking the goat. Um, so yeah, so
That's pretty good.
that was a pretty good moment. So I don't think anybody has a goat in the NFL, but I think a goat fighting a bear because I hate goats would be my choice.
You just want to see a goat just get ripped to shreds, essentially.
Although a
Then
Viking and a Buccaneer would be pretty good, pretty
There
cool
you
too.
go.
That
would
would
be a
be-
good one.
Yeah.
I mean, disclaimer, I definitely came up with this question like 2 minutes ago, so
oh, it's
it was very last minute. So the last question was, which AFC team do you think would be the biggest threat to the Chiefs right now? I mean, going forward.
Yeah. It's hard to get a take on the Dolphins because obviously they look really scary, but the Bills took pretty good care of them. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We might match up well against them with our really good defense. I think if the Browns, I think if the Browns or the Steelers could actually have a consistent offense, they would be really scary. But I guess I'm going to say the Dolphins because so far neither of those teams have had really much of an offense. So
yeah, I feel like the Dolphins are the obvious answer. I'm trying to think if there's like a good dark horse to come steal it.
well,
You
the
know who
Colts are
might
kind of
be
a light horse. So
you know who might it all depends on if their offense gets going, but like the Ravens, like I've always thought
Hmm.
they've been better than
yeah,
has happened. So their defense is pretty strong and they're trying to do some new things with offense. So if those come together, that could be pretty hard because Lamar Jackson, like contending with his running and
yeah,
like if he has some pass catchers like Zay Flowers, that could be a pretty mean matchup.
yeah.
Anyway,
That
I could see that be like the dark horse. Otherwise, I mean, it's probably the Bengals jumping back. You know,
yeah.
like, I don't know.
I'll tell you what though, a wolf versus a dolphin cage match, assuming it's on land, would not be a very good match. That would I'd feel bad for the dolphin in that one, but
You'd have to have both. You have to have both elements. I mean, you
yeah,
have to have some water and some land.
yeah. This just seems like a video game waiting to happen.
That's a good point.
Just-
Yeah, that'd be a
It's like
good
with
one.
all the Nickelodeons, we just have a football game with mascots. Like
Yeah,
instead of watching the football game, you just watch mascots like fight each other.
just like a cage fight. That would be even if it was like totally scripted. So the last one left was the whoever won the Super Bowl or whatever. I'd be all for that. So
Awesome. Well, thanks
Um,
for joining us, brother.
Well,
Yeah.
you didn't let me answer my own question.
okay,
Oh, please answer your own question.
Right. I mean, I'd like to contribute a little bit. I'm not just the questions guy. I don't have to be. Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously the Dolphins are the obvious choice, but I don't know. I think that Jacksonville could turn into a good team. They've been, I mean, you guys have probably been busy, but they were crushing the Saints through halftime at least. They had 2 turnovers and they still held them to 3 points. So So anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up end of the year being pretty good. Just depends on how they can play consistently.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the same thing with the Bills and the Bengals. They're just all struggling to be consistent. They'll blow a team out, or especially with the Bills, blow a team out and then get beat pretty bad. So
Yep. Yeah.
yeah.
We'll
Good
see.
answer. Good answer.
All right. Well, until next time, I'll
All
spend
right.
some time thinking about some new questions for you guys.
Keep
Hey,
wondering.
Thanks. You
I'll
just
keep
gotta
wondering.
keep wondering. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you.
Yep. Yep.
So long. That was pretty good.
That was a fun surprise.
Yeah. That was a good
I was
surprise.
also surprised by a lot of those things. So
That's
that
yeah.
was lots of surprises all around.
Surprises all around. So why don't we jump
Yeah.
over to some memes real quick?
Oh yes, we got to get to that. All right. The brotherly shove, the Tommy Townsend.
I was pretty proud of that one, to be honest. Obviously, the
It's
play
pretty
didn't
good.
work, but the
Yeah.
meme works.
I don't know. I was so frustrated by that play, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
My
Like,
general
okay.
thought is I don't like fakes like that because I think I'd rather have the ball in Mahomes' hand on
Yeah,
any
he's too
down.
good.
Yeah.
Don't surprise people. Just do the thing that works every time, even
Yeah.
if they're not surprised.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, when linemen jump off sides. That's so true. That makes me laugh in every sport, like
Yeah.
pointing to people. When I play basketball, I like made an art of like looking at the ref like views, like they're legitimately like, what are you what?
Yeah.
Then and then they have to like defend themselves. Then I'm pretty sure they're gonna be a little bit less like that for the rest of
Yeah.
maybe it worked, maybe it didn't at all.
Maybe it didn't.
But-
Maybe
but
they told stories about
I
you.
did enjoy that. Yeah, the
Yeah.
boss was like, see that guy, he just looked confused the whole time.
What's his deal? Yeah.
It was so funny. Sean Payton. Oh, this. Oh,
You
I
have to
don't
give him a little bit.
look. I want to give Sean Payton at least a year, in doing his thing before I get too judgmental. But they have been
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah. When he was talking a lot of smack about the guy there last year. So
Yeah, Hackett. Yeah.
yeah. So when you do that before you're there, before the season starts, you get this on you a little bit. So
Yeah, he deserves it for sure. Watching the Chiefs beat his team. That's good. That's good. Good. Then he's like, all right, I'm going back. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see. He had to work out. So we'll see. I
Yeah.
don't know. We
if
can talk
they,
about that a little bit later. I'm
Yeah.
not like super. I think I'd like our rookies just get more reps in practice. But he's not a bad depth piece. So as long as we don't use him too much, I think
Yeah.
that'd be good. Has to wait another week to walk the gentle Bengals. Thanks for getting back at the Bengals thing. It's who you are.
Yeah. I was like,
stay true
I
to
gotta give
yourself.
myself a little bit of crap for this one. So
Dude, it's been a rough go for them. I think they won, but Joe Burrow did not look good. Still,
yeah.
he looked good against the Cardinals, and that's it. So they get their act together, they'll be in it, and they probably will. They usually start slow.
And fortunately for them, their division's been beating up on each other enough that their slow start hasn't really put them back by too much. So
Yeah. So they'll probably be in the playoffs, and we'll probably play them in the AFC Championship, and the team who wins will probably win by 3 points. Because that's what they should.
3 points on a 6-yarder from Butker. So
Right.
yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Let's jump into the game.
Yeah.
What were your big thoughts on the game?
Well, obviously, you kind of hope to beat them by more because of the record they've had this year and how they've played against. Obviously, that Miami game is a fluke. Miami could play them 10 other times this year and you wouldn't get 70 points, but division games are hard. It's hard when you know what the other team plays a lot, and it was a short week. So an ugly win is a win on a Thursday night game. And, obviously I hope next week when we play them again, that it comes back. We just take care of business a little bit better on offense, but altogether sloppy win, but it was a win. So
Yeah, I mean, defense continues to play well. The Broncos offense has been a lot of garbage time, but they've done okay. most games.
Yeah.
So I was happy to see that. Eh, we just had a few things get away from us, a couple turnovers and not not executing. So
Red zone
hopefully Cole
struggles.
Hardman will help with that a little bit.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But yeah, so yeah, kind of sloppy. I agree. Like the fact that we were just one score ahead most of the time was not great.
Yeah.
But
Apparently though,
win's a win.
Kelsey, yeah. Apparently Kelsey doesn't need two healthy ankles to be dominant though. Like it's like, oh, he was kind of injured last week. It'll be rough for Thursday. It was like, oh, best game of the season for him. So
Yeah, he's gonna just crawl his way. Like he'd
yeah.
crawl and get open.
Oh yeah, that was a
Walk
meme I
his
thought about making, but I'd forgotten when I was actually sitting down to do it. That man, playing the zone against Kelsey does not work. And did you see this? The commentators highlight at one point, like he is such a good teammate, and him and Mahomes are just on the same wavelength, so that he realized he was covered by the zone, and he like points for the check down pass for Mahomes because he sees that it was open there in the flats. And so then Mahomes does his progression, sees Kelsey, and then checks it down because Kelsey said that's where to go. It's like, so not
Didn't
only
see
he
that.
looking for the soft part in the zone, but he's looking around for who else is open, which is pretty
That's so
cool.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody just today about football players and just how being really intelligent is so important. And I think that's part of why a lot of prospects bust because it's really hard to assess if somebody is like football smart in that way. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna know plays and stuff. And so like I'm sure there's people who are more physically gifted than Kelsey. Like he's pretty good, right? But there's a mental element to it that you have to have, and Kelsey definitely has it. So
Yeah. And obviously, like, sometimes I think we get into the thing where we kind of think if two good players on the same team, they're going to obviously be good. But like Mahomes and Kelsey, like it seems like Kelsey doesn't run, like either the routes are designed for him to have options or he just improvises a lot. But Mahomes knows where to look for him because he knows Kelsey's going to find the opening. And so there's that connection too, which I think is just another thing you can't take for granted, that two players like knowing how each other think so well. And
yeah, they definitely got it figured out. So it's hard to have another Kelsey, but all the great, Devontae Adams does stuff like that. All the good
Yep.
receivers are able to understand zones and make calls, even if they're not gonna win like physically every time. But
Yeah.
Kelsey can do both, but it's good to
Yep.
have him, especially when they play zone. You're right. Like he just destroys zones. Like what are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
3 points. That's fine.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. So it's pretty fun to watch. So
Who like I've heard a lot of people like pushing for more Rashee Rice. So that's kind of random. Random fact, I actually am connected to his coach at SMU. Like I know,
cool.
yeah. Well, I know that person. So we're not like
Well,
besties, but yeah,
you
I know.
should
Yeah.
you should tell him to I don't know, tell them to give Rice more shots or something. So actually, I guess we could just say, because I'm convinced Brett Veach listens, because they're trying out Frank Clark. As we already mentioned, they're having a physical. He's doing a workout, and we talked about how I said he'd be someone I wanted back. So clearly, the Chiefs office is listening to us. So
They got ears everywhere, man.
yeah,
You have some good advice. Yeah. So yeah, the Rashee Rice. I would love to see more of him. He seems really physically gifted, and I think like frankly, I wonder if sometimes Reed's system, it's like it emphasizes too much. You have to know everything in the system, and you have to do it. Like I don't know, like it's kind of hard, but
yeah,
I think you have a person that the one guy who's really doing stuff with all his targets and everything. Like Mahomes has a really high QBR when he's targeting him and stuff like that.
yeah.
Like
I
try
saw.
to figure out how to do that.
I can't remember the exact numbers, but I saw someone shared like yards per snap that they were a part of, and his is pretty high. So he gets a lot of looks when he's in there. And I think you're right. I think Reed's offense is really complicated, and so maybe they don't want people messing up, and so they're way too much time to figure it out. But like, I'd like to see it. Like he's definitely an early impact maker for the place he gets. And we talked about, I remember which week it was where he like twice got tackled on the 1 yard line. So yeah, our dog making an
Yeah,
appearance
so
this week. So
I would love to see more of him, even as we talk about like McCole Hardman and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
he's the guy I would love to see more involved.
yeah. I think Hardman could be involved a lot, but I see him as probably there to help fill a void of Jason or of Justin Watson, and probably just be a transition, and while other players get kind of used to themselves. Sky Moore has some really good plays, but I think he's going to start falling down in the depth chart because he also has games where he just sees like almost no work. So
Right. I mean, he hasn't progressed quite like we hoped. And again, like I said, that just different. NFL is harder and
Yeah.
it's more complicated, and so you could be a really good route runner in some ways, but you're running against faster players, and so
yeah,
maybe the physical is too much or stuff like that. So I don't know everything that's going wrong for him, but I mean, we've had some drops. I'm really curious to see what happens with Kadarius Toney, like in the offense.
yeah,
He's so gadgety, and his plays just seem to keep not working
yeah,
that we're trying to get him involved in. I think we need to find a new way to get him involved. He's not an alpha wide receiver. He's gadgety, but like get it to him in space, let him be twitchy. Like, I don't know.
yeah. And I was it this week? This week has been so long ago because it was a Thursday game, but where they did that direct snap to him, and it was like a read option. Was that?
And he should have done the read.
And he should have done the read, but I think like, and maybe I guess my feeling is on the trick plays he's involved in, he wants to prove himself because he is incredibly athletic, but so then he doesn't necessarily make the best decisions because he's trying to prove himself a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, he seems to be forcing it. So I would love for McCole Hardman to get those sweeps instead of KT,
Yeah,
jet sweeps. He was very effective with those, and he got like I remember a touchdown on a 30-yard one that he had with one of those one time, like
yeah,
stuff like that. I'd love to see him come in and do that stuff, and for KT to find a different way to be effective. Like you said, I
yeah,
think he's just getting it. Yeah, he needs to calm down and figure out. And sometimes we forget how young these players are. I think.
yeah,
I think there's some immaturity there that, and just some unsettledness. People have doubted him for a long time, and he wants to prove him wrong, but you don't prove him wrong that way.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember when the majority of NFL players were older than I was. So those were the days.
Those were the days before we were cool.
Before we were cool. Yep. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we turn around and play the Broncos in after this week. Because obviously playing the same team in 2 weeks so close to each other can be tough. The Broncos probably want to beat us more than almost any team. Was it 6? How many in a row was it?
That, yeah, it's like I think we're at 15. I think that was 15, or
Yeah,
it was,
or maybe it was 16 after this, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not like the Chiefs' success in our division is unrivaled in the NFL in recent years because most of the time division games are like, there's always that game where Tom Brady managed to lose to the Dolphins, just because it's hard to beat the same team twice a year, and especially when you face them every year. But
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. They're really struggling, and so it could happen. I think also our division just hasn't been as good as people thought it would be. Like last year they were all like there. So I think that's some of it too. But we've just been really dominant in general.
yeah,
So yeah, we'll keep rolling and try to win out. Like if we beat the Raiders both times, which we seem to destroy, and beat the Broncos both times, which I mean, they've been struggling. We've been beating them. And then, even just 1-1 with the Chargers, like that's pretty good for division.
Yeah.
Makes it easy.
Well, let me read you our quick Swift segment because
Oh,
Hannah
perfect.
works hard to prepare these. So I'll tell you the song she references this time, literally never heard it before.
Oh, okay.
Or at least I don't remember it. So I'm still learning. She said, it's clear that Travis and Taylor are starting to catch some feelings to some degree for each other. Having Taylor in attendance for the Kansas City game was great fun. She looked so happy taking selfies with Mama Donna and fans and cheering on her man. She's probably singing the lyrics to Hey Steven into her hairbrush at night. Then here's the lyrics that Hannah is referencing.
Yeah.
Because I can't help it if you look like an angel. Can't help it if I want to kiss you in the rain. So come feel this magic I've been feeling since I met you. Can't help it if there's no one else. I can't help myself. Hey, Steven. Then she puts in parentheses, Travis. I've been holding back this feeling. I've got some things to say to you. I've seen it all, so I thought, but I've never seen nobody shine the way you do.
Oh,
So there you go. That was a quick
good.
Swift segment.
A
So
good, quick Swift segment. You know, you gotta love those quick Swift. You know, I love how we're learning how to be better, like Swifties, while
yeah,
their Swifties are learning a little bit more about football.
it's just a trade,
Still,
it's a
still
sharing
pretty incredible.
knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still pretty incredible how much it's affecting ratings, stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's so funny. But cool. Yeah, that's really good. I love it. Hey Travis.
Hey, Travis.
Love you. Hey, I mean, it sounds like for me, I just look at it and I'm like, I don't know how serious, but it seems like they're just having a fun time, you know?
Yeah.
And I think for both of them, that's kind of where they're at in life. So
Yeah.
keep having
I'll,
fun, I guess.
I'll say too, like I mentioned this to Hannah, like one of the things that's fun is, like no shade to any of the other people that Taylor Swift has dated, but Travis is definitely the most manly of all of them. Like you think like, is that her date or is that her security guard? Like
Yeah, maybe I mean, she's pretty tall, so maybe she just got tired of dating people
that's true.
shorter
She
than
looks
her.
she looks normal height with him around. So
Yeah, he is pretty manly. And
so I
that's
guess
a good thing.
ladies, if you are tired of being taller than your guys, find an NFL player. Is that the
Right. Or find it like an XFL player. I have
yeah.
a friend here. She was like talking about meeting some at
Okay.
some bar or something. And she was like, it was kind of fun because they know that they're not that good, but they're still like pretty competitive and like competitors, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so she was trying to get all her friends to go to the game. I don't think they ended up going, but like
Okay.
she wanted
Is
to go
there
watch them play.
you have an XFL team there?
Mhm.
Oh, cool. I guess that makes sense. There's everything there. But
Yeah, we're kind of a big football place. You know,
really,
Texas, kind of a big deal.
I never would have guessed.
We have
So,
two football teams for our
yeah.
state, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. And we're finally to the point where we kind of do have two football teams. For a while, we kind of just had one.
Yep. Yeah. That's true.
Or none really.
Or none, depending on how you look at it. So
Who knows? But anyway, you have any thoughts as we look forward to our game this week, Chargers?
yeah, even though this year they've been really struggling, I still think the Chargers are the scariest team in the division, obviously,
Oh,
besides
100%.
us. I think Justin Herbert is really good. I expect to take care of business because I think we are in a better place with where we are as a team than they are at this point. Obviously, they have a really good defense, but I just haven't seen their offense really um, firing on all cylinders. Our defense is
Yeah.
playing great, and I trust Mahomes to make the difference in a game where it might be mostly decided by defenses. Just my thoughts. So, what about you?
Yeah, I think they're better than their record for sure.
Mhm.
Justin Herbert's been playing like crazy. Brandon Staley, it's really hard to get a read on him. His defense, like he's a defensive coach, like coordinator, but his teams have not been good defensively. Kellen Moore, I think, has been a good addition and does some really cool stuff. But yeah, so I'm hoping for a shootout. I really want a good old fashioned shootout. We haven't had one of those in a while. Um, So
Yeah.
let's go for it. You know, Mahomes,
And
Herbert, let's go.
keep that Chris Jones sack streak alive. So
That's true. Yeah,
yeah.
go get him. Let's go get him.
I was thinking about next week, and I think considering that we're playing each other in fantasy this week, I think next week our fantasy advice segment should be run exclusively by whoever wins,
Oof,
because
you know,
clearly they know what they're doing, and fantasy is
right?
not luck based at all.
No,
So
no. I'm checking your score right now before I agree to this.
seeing how many checkdowns Kamara's gotten.
Yeah, how many checkdowns has he got? Okay, not a whole lot more. Okay, we're good.
You're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we can do it. I was like, you're already up like 30 something.
It's like look, he's got like 7 touchdowns or something, and you're like, sure.
Right. I mean, it's pretty early. It's halfway through the third, so he could definitely be at 30 points or something by the end of the
Yeah.
game. But you know,
Well,
it's all
here's
right.
to hoping.
Here's
So
hoping. No, don't do it. Don't do it, Joel. I'm so sad.
I need this win.
I know we both need this win. We're both struggling
Yeah.
because we're apparently neither of us are that good.
We're
I love my team. I just, you
Yeah.
know, it just, you know, underperforming, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I had a funny experience. Maybe just for fantasy, we can talk about this, where I had a student, um, like who was like the son of one of the other guys in my other league. And he was like, you spend all this time on fantasy, but your team loses more than it wins. Like you're not even good. And I was like, oh, so hard. And I was like, but then I was like, well, just so you know, I've been in 9 fantasy leagues and I've never missed the playoffs. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I win more than I lose, but I am losing in that. I was 2-3, and I'm 2-4 in our league. Now I'm 3-3 in the other league. So we'll see.
Yeah. And to be honest, I sometimes wonder if losing the first couple weeks is not bad, because those waiver pickups of
Yeah.
players you don't know are going to have a big role and stuff. Like I've had Thielen. I picked him up, I think, in week 2, and he's been one of my most consistent receivers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Our friend JT, he's I'm so annoyed because this is the first year he hasn't just dominated, and he's gotten like 2 or 3 good running backs, like amazing running backs off the waivers because he's been just before me or like spot.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah,
I've been
I don't
just
know
good
if I
enough
should
not to
admit
get.
this, because I know other people from the group listen, but there was a time where I saw someone that was like, it was Swift. He was on the waiver, and I was like, oh dang, like there's a few people before me, but then Hannah was number 1 on the waiver, so Hannah get him. So I didn't like trade for him or anything. I just said, you got to grab him because I don't want JT to get him. So she got him. So yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that's okay. Give people advice from waivers.
Yep.
That's fine.
Especially your spouse. So
especially your spouse. That's only being a good husband. Anyway, awesome. Well, on that note, I hope I win.
yeah,
And,
I hope you don't.
no
but...
offense. I normally hope you win as well, but hope I win this week and keep rolling. But let's go on to the Chargers, man.
Let's
and
go.
Hopefully
Let's
a
go
bear
Chargers.
kills a goat somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure it's happening somewhere as we speak.
That would be the best mask. That would be just the best.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All right.
we'll see you next time.
Next time.